Oh, welcome everybody to the Genesis Mindset. Sorry for that delay. I'm actually, for the very first time, trying to get this also on TikTok. So if you'll actually just give me a few seconds just to add a title to this. I've never done this before on TikTok. It's definitely not a good start. So macroeconomy mindset. Here we go. And let's just put this here and there. Oh, why can't I go live? Got it. Go live. Man, you must select a topic. Well, this is not a good start. Sorry about this. I just thought I'd press go live and it would go live. I probably should have done a different kind of a test. Learn? Is that what we would call this? Learn. The categories: chat and interview, live match, music, daily life, beauty, fashion, news, event. Let's call it learn. This is learn. Go live. Okay, so let me properly do the intro there. So my apologies for everyone who's joined so far. So welcome to the Genesis Mindset. This first minute is probably a little bit lame, but yeah, macroeconomy mindset. So today, taking a look at the macroeconomy mindset and looking for signs that the bull market is still on. So we have to be really objective here. We have to be very objective. We have to be as objective as possible and not succumb to our emotional tendencies. Emotional mastery is key here. So being aware of how I am and understanding the global conditions and global sentiment. So we're going to have a look at that today. Also going to take a look at the one thing which is pumped today on Pulsechain. So one shining light, the meme DAI, which is heading for $1. So it even looks like it looks to me like it's going to get to $1 before the pDAI. So it's the one shining light on Pulsechain. And then also going to take a look at upcoming plans for everything that's happening on upcoming plans for Coexist. So I'm a little bit rusty at the minute because I'm trying to manage multiple things. It looks like somebody's just joined on the TikTok live. So this is my very first time doing it on the TikTok live. So, hey, Johnny Veritas, I'm getting a comment on the TikTok live. So what's going on, Johnny? He's saying I was right with the half a cent. So it's dipped below half a cent. So we're gonna have a look at that as well, Johnny. And see how it's actually, in my opinion, it's actually potentially even going to go lower. So we're going to take a look at that. So you'll also notice there's a few little changes. So first, we're going to have a look at Bitcoin. So there's been a bit of a bounce today, but still looking really quite bearish. And to be perfectly honest, I'm looking more at these kinds of levels here. I'm really looking for it to enter into this kind of a region. So I'm looking for it to go, at a best case scenario, 70 odd thousand. Really, that's the region that I'm thinking, 70,000. But it could definitely go lower. It could definitely go as low as 47. It could drop below 50. And there's a lot of reasons why it can do this. And a lot of this has got to do with the global macro conditions at the moment. So obviously the sentiment is really bad all across Twitter. People are really starting to feel it. Also, for the first time, as I'm reading the comments, I'm also absorbing that energy and starting to feel it as well. This does not mean that I'm like, oh, it's all over, I'm bearish. All it means is I've basically just tuned into the frequency of the emotion and I can feel the fear. I'm not in it, but I can feel it. I can feel the world's fear. The fear is really there. And so just like any market, there's always going to be a bottom. There's always going to be a bottom. So we really have to keep an eye on the global conditions right now because there's a lot of reasons why this is happening. So my core thesis remains the same, that Trump and the American government are deliberately trying to force the prices down. They are the they are the kings of the world's economy. And so they are the GOAT market makers. So if they want cheap prices, they're going to get it. So there's a variety of reasons. So basically, I've gone through Twitter, accumulated a bunch of topics to go through. So first of all, we're going to start with the big dog. So Big Rich. I've been here since Bitcoin was 50 cents. I was born in the dip, molded by it. I didn't see green candles until I was already a man. By then it was nothing to me but zeros. What a way to start. I had to start with the big dog, because this is like, what a statement. You know, people are basically looking at his Ethereum trade and, oh, is he going to capitulate? Is he going to sell? He's not going to sell. He's not going to sell. And again, I'm so immune. And look, if this was the end of the bull market as well, I'd be like, okay, no problem. My long-term thesis on crypto is still bullish. So if it was the end of the bull market, no problem. I do believe that Ethereum is going to break its all-time highs eventually, maybe the next cycle. So I have that long-term mindset, so it doesn't really bother me. So of course I would love it to continue to go, but yeah, this is where I align myself. Delayed gratification, long-term mindset. There's nothing that I need from my crypto now, so it really doesn't bother me. It might be different for other people. Even though I'm all in, I really want it to succeed. I really, really do want it to succeed, but long-term mindset. So really trying to frame my mind like the masters. So this episode is really going to be a lot about the emotional mastery side of things, because I think that that's very important. So when you have somebody who's molded by the experience of just seeing red, emulating that kind of a mindset to me is very, very important. Now, I hope I shared the sound on this. Let me just double check, because this is old mate Pomp. I'll just give this a pause for 1 second. I want to make sure that I shared the sound. Let me double check. Actually, what I'll do is I'm just going to play it, and if you guys can hear it or you can't hear it, you just let me know. So this is Anthony Pompliano. So he's a BT, well, pretty much a Bitcoin maxi, but let's have a look what he has to say, because he's pretty much got the same thesis as me. The president and his team are intentionally crashing the market. Is this a master plan, or are we watching uncontrolled destruction? Now, also, think about this not just in the context of cryptocurrency. Think about this in the context of the entire global market and Trump's desire to create a legacy. Trump is like Richard. Trump's got everything. He's got everything that any man could ever want. So he's not here to make niceties and walk away with a smile on his face. He wants a legacy. He wants to be a president that's going to be remembered through the ages. So he's going to be doing things that are very important. I listened to an interview. It might even be in this. Let's listen to this first, and then I'll comment on that later. So,
big question in financial markets over the last 2 weeks has been, is Donald Trump, the president of the United States, is he intentionally trying to tank the U.S. stock market? That'd be insane. That would have been an absurd question back before the inauguration. Now, the general thought process is that President Trump, he's a businessman, and he's also an investor. He measures the health of the U.S. economy through the stock market performance, and so you should expect that the stock market will go up and to the right if Donald Trump becomes president. Now, I know this was the consensus because I believed it too. I told you guys that that's what I thought would happen. And there was no obvious reason why Donald Trump would allow the U.S. stock market to drop, let alone personally take actions to crash the market himself. But that's exactly what's happening right now. And to be honest, this got people's brains in a blender. Now, here's President Trump talking over the weekend. It's all about his plan to get interest rates and energy down. Take a listen.
I've been saying, let's get interest rates down. You know, nobody ever gets rich when the interest rates are high because people can't borrow money. Interest rates are going down. You know what else is going down? What have I been trying to get down? Energy. Energy's going down. I'd love to see energy go down.
It's kind of crazy to hear him talk about that. Now, Chris Patel and Amit is Investing. They explain how this plan works. We got $7 trillion of debt. We need to pay it back in the next 6 months. It's a big bill, baby. If we don't pay it back, we'll have to refinance. And the Trump administration, they do not want to refinance that debt if rates are at 4% or higher. So what do we got to do? The 10-year yield, we got to get that thing down. At one point, it was at 4.8% this year, but we got to get it lower. And
that's a huge part of this story. The yield, the 10-year yield, trying to get people to re-enter into the bond markets. The dynamics of bond markets with the global liquidity system is really, really getting stretched out because the yield is, I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible. So why would people want to do that? So this is really part of Trump's master plan. So I've been seeing this a lot. I've been listening to a lot of commentary on this kind of idea. So let's continue to listen here, and I might speed it up as well a little.
So how do you get it to come down? Well, markets, they need to be scared. They need to show a little weakness in growth. People got to believe that Doge is actually working, and interest rates will slowly start to come down. And the way to do that is you create that fear and that uncertainty. You do it through things like tariffs. And so as you put on tariffs, you can see the slowdown in growth in the short term. You can get the bond market to start buying bonds as soon as possible because they're scared to touch stocks. And then, of course, that gives the Fed, the big bad Fed, the authority to bring lower rates down, which continues to bring the yield down as well. So although every single
So in other words, it's almost like Trump is trying to force the hand of the Fed to lower the rates. So tariffs are, it makes the market very uncertain. It creates a lot of volatility. And it did do this in his previous governance. So when he was a president before, when he was doing tariffs, the stock market wasn't extremely bullish. It was really volatile for quite some time.
single talking head on television, every mainstream economist will tell you conventional wisdom says tariffs are inflationary and the 10-year should be spiking on more tariffs. It's actually going down because it's bringing so much uncertainty to equity markets, and people, they're fearful, they're selling stocks and they're buying bonds. That's exactly what Trump wants to happen here. And in the short term, we are going to see the refinancing costs come down. Now, this isn't the easy way. It's actually the hard way to get interest rates down. The easy way, we already tried that one. The easy way would have been to have the Federal Reserve cut interest rates at the start of the year, but that didn't happen. In fact, many people have already forgotten. But go back to last year. Donald Trump was telling Jerome Powell, you got to cut interest rates, cut interest rates, cut interest rates. But Powell was public in his defiance of Trump's request. So now Donald Trump and Scott Bessent, they're taking matters into their own hands. They are crashing asset prices in an attempt to force Jerome Powell to cut interest rates. Now, here's the thing. We're going to see who blinks first. It's a big game of chicken, baby. So don't believe me, though. Here's Donald Trump explicitly saying that you can't watch the stock market right now. Take a listen.
You said, look, we're going to have disruption, but we're okay with that. Is that what you meant? The stock market going down was the disruption? What other disruption were you alluding to?
Look, what I have to do is build a strong country. You can't really watch the stock market. If you look at China, they have a 100-year perspective. We have a quarter. We go by quarters.
That's true.
And you can't go by that. You have to do what's right. What we're doing is we're building a tremendous foundation for the future. Tremendous foundation.
So there you go. The entire.
So again, that really gives you an insight into Trump's mindset around what he's trying to do. He's trying to make America great again. He's trying to build a legacy. So he's seen that America's basically fallen into this very short-term mindset thinking. They're looking quarter by quarter, just pumping the boys' bags. But Trump is willing to go through the pain and the suffering. And for him, of course, he's willing to go through it because it doesn't even affect him. He's a billionaire. It doesn't affect him. So he's willing to go through that pain and that suffering for the long term of making America sustainable in the future. So it'll be very interesting to see if this plays out. But he wants to create a legacy of a very positive presidency. So let's continue to listen to what Anthony's saying. I hope you guys are understanding what he's saying. So these kinds of terminologies are also quite, you know, I hear these things a lot, but it doesn't really, sometimes it doesn't really click in my brain, but it's really clicking a lot now, actually. I listened to it earlier, but listening to it now, again, it's really clicking. So maybe listen to it a few times. It's actually really, really good, this thesis.
Entire administration in the White House, they have their eyes on the 10-year Treasury yield. But even without Jerome Powell stepping up to the plate with his big bat and slashing interest rates, we've already seen the 10-year drop from 4.8% in January all the way down to 4.25% this weekend. That means we're heading in the right direction. And that is a good start. But we're going to need much more movement on interest rates if we want to have a profound impact on our refinancing costs. And refinancing costs coming down isn't just good for the U.S. government. Lower interest rates also affect the consumer. The drop in interest rates since the start of the year, they've helped drop something like mortgage rates as well. Chris Patel points out that as interest rates decline, more buyers come out of the shadows. The sellers, they're willing to go ahead and sell because the buyers are willing to pay more. And that is what it's going to take to get the housing market to thaw. If you want housing transaction volume, you got to get interest rates down. But housing is not the only game in town either. Actually, there are a number of different assets that benefit from lower interest rates. Perplexity, that favorite AI search engine that I use all the time, it explains it best. The machine says that lower interest rates generally benefit American consumers by reducing borrowing costs. They make it cheaper to finance purchases such as homes, cars, or education through loans and mortgages. And this can also increase disposable income, put more money back in Americans' pockets. And it encourages spending on big ticket items and it boosts economic activity. So how many interest rate cuts can we expect in 2025? That's a big question. The trillions of dollars being bet on this. Prediction market Kalshi, they say that the market has increased its expected number of rate cuts. In fact, their prediction markets show that it now gives more than 75% odds of 2 or more rate cuts this year. More than 75% odds on 2 or more cuts. I like those odds. Kalshi is also showing a 38% chance of a recession this year. Why is that important? If we get to a recession, interest rate cuts will become much more obvious. So Donald Trump, Scott Bessent, Howard Lutnick, and the current administration, are they trying to pull down asset prices? Absolutely, 100%. They're telling you in every single interview they do. They're claiming to be focused on Main Street, not Wall Street. The big goal, get interest rates down, and that will lead to more economic activity thanks to access to cheap capital. Give the people cheap capital, and they'll go and do things with it. Remember, this is not your grandfather's economy. It's not your grandfather's economic policy either. But there's tons of controversy over this strategy. Why? People hate new things, especially when they're told that these are big, bold bets coming from the other side of the political aisle. But if we end up with lower interest rates and we can somehow avoid a recession, then we're all going to have to tip our cap to the current leadership team. I don't envy their position. Something new has to be done since we can't continue on the path we're on. Let's all hope this plan works. There's millions of Americans who are depending on it. And if we actually can pull this off, millions of Americans, their lives will be better off for it. The big question in financial markets over.
So what do you guys think of that? You know, when I hear this, of course, you got to try and look at all the different perspectives. You got to look at the negative sentiment as well. But I haven't currently seen a strong thesis for why things are going to be long-term bearish. The way that I'm looking at this is Trump's presidency going to swing to see bullish sentiment in the stock market? Is it going to break its all-time highs? I think that's what he's definitely going to want to do in the stock market, in risk on assets. But right now, we're going through the pain stage. It also really kind of begs the question, is cryptocurrency still going to be beholden to the 4-year cycles? So it really looks like at the moment we are. But if we do go down and sideways, and let's just say hypothetically, the stock market keeps going down and sideways for the next six months to a year, and cryptocurrency does the same, and then we could really see that potentially it's broken the 4-year cycle because it's going to have finished a lot earlier. It would have finished, months ago? So it would have finished a lot earlier. But then that also might mean that we're not going to have to wait 3 years for it to be bullish again. We might actually see it become bullish when the stock market starts to become bullish. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how this plays out. So I don't know what you guys think. I don't know what kind of sentiment you guys have seen around there. But for me, I'm feeling very comfortable. It is what it is. There's nothing that I can do about it. All I need to do is just feed my brain with the information so that I can assess what I'm going to do. But at the end of the day, I'm probably not really going to be doing anything unless I can see something like, if I'm getting evidence that's going to suggest that there's going to be like a 90% drop, then I'd probably maybe change my strategy and say, well, I'll sell so that I can rebuy a dip. Maybe that's what I would do. But to be perfectly honest, the risk of selling now is obviously way, way, way too high. So, I mean, if you look at Pulsechain as well, I don't see Pulsechain getting much lower. I can't see like a 90% drop on Pulsechain. So, yeah, I don't know what you guys think. So anyway, what's going on, Puffy? Good morning, Andrew. Shia. So I've got a few more things to go through here. So I just want to say good day to everyone. What's going on, Ben? Whales dumping big... Oh, bro, Andrew. Yes, whales are dumping big clips of pDAI. So that's a lot to do with Herman. So what's going on, Maddie? What's going on, Frankie Lloyd White? It's not the bottom of pDAI. Tell me, because I'm about to either compound my Remember rewards or swap for pDAI, PWBTC. I will go into that in a minute. So I believe we're in a bottom region, a bottom zone. I am hopeful that we're going to have a bullish sentiment sometime in March, but we could be beholden to the rest of the global macro economy, which generally we are. But if stocks keep plummeting, if everything is bearish in risk on assets in the rest of the market, then crypto is probably going to follow suit. So I would definitely like to see a reverse in March, but we have to just wait and see. So yeah, the one whale was pretty much, it was Herman, Andrew. It was all Herman. So he's been dumping the crap out of it. So what's going on, Conspiracy Crypto? This is what capitulation feels like. Yeah, man. Oh, the sentiment is so bad all over Twitter. So what's going on, Clintrons? Stephen, check out this indicator. I love it. Which indicator are you talking about, Frank? I can't see a title of any indicator. Maybe if you can kind of spell it out in a different way. Maybe it looks like, I'm not deleting any comments or anything. So maybe it's being deleted somehow. Oh, what happened here? What happened to my screen? Did I just get rugged? No, I'm still here. Okay. All right. So I could be wrong, but I think the bull was over, which it probably is not. But if it was, I don't think that includes Pulsechain. I would say Pulsechain still have its run. Oh, yeah. I don't think that that's going to be the case. If the bull run is over, I don't think Pulsechain it doesn't have the strength to separate itself from the rest of cryptocurrency, just in my opinion. So, but I do believe that the market is being crashed. Not necessarily for the billionaire boys to buy bottoms. I mean, yeah, that's definitely true. But I think Trump's perspective is probably even wider than that. So he really wants to recover the economy in America. if it keeps going down the same avenue that it's been going down, it's leading to a cliff edge. So basically just trying to slow down the inevitable. So I think it's wonderful what Trump is trying to do, but the inevitability is it's a linear system and it's eventually going to collapse because it relies on infinite and exponential growth. So that's just my opinion. And I think that there needs to be things put in place which can help alleviate some of those flaws in the current economic system. So I think the solutions are starting to be birthed in the world now. So what's going on here? pDAI, baby, what's going on, HexG unit? Question is, will Trump allow a recession to get the lower interest rates he wants? If he does want a recession, how long will that take? That's the key question, Puffy. That's the key question. So I think he would be willing to go through that, but I think he would want it to be as fast as possible. And I don't think he would want to end his term on a recession. I don't think he would want to start it in a recession and end it in a recession, put it that way. I think he would definitely want to be ending it on a bullish trend. So pumped to pick up pDAI. Yep. The only problem is it's so hard to, like, everything's down. So it's almost like you just got to sell things that are probably not going to pump as much to accumulate these lows in pDAI. So bring on lower. That's where the energy leads. Up is in our future. So exactly. So trust the process. Go with the flow. That's it, brother. What's going on? All right. Short term, the uncertainty doesn't reflect upon the long-term vision. Hit the like button as well. Definitely, please, everybody. Thank you very much. So I hope you're well too, Ink Maxi. So, okay, let's go on to the next one. So pretty much a lot of the same opinions. So Trump wants to sign an executive order requiring the Fed to provide bank accounts to crypto companies. So this would give crypto firms direct access to the US financial system, removing banking barriers and boosting adoption. This is extremely bullish for crypto. This is wildly bullish for crypto. So again, Trump's not stupid. He knows the backbone of the global economic system is banks. He knows it's American banks. And so if he's a believer in this new asset class, then of course he's going to want to bring them in at the optimum levels. He's not going to want to bring them in when Bitcoin's over 100K and when everything's just looking like it's overinflated and in a hyper bubble. He's going to want to bring them in at the bottom so that they can get the strongest position out of anybody. So Trump's really looking up like, yeah, I'm just seeing these things. And again, when is it going to be? Is it going to be next month? Is it going to be 6 months? Is it going to be a year? I don't know. I don't know when it's going to be. The timing doesn't really matter. It would be fantastic if we see a turnaround this year, but I'm so unconcerned about that. So I don't know how you guys feel about this, but for me, I see things like this and I'm still long-term bullish. Long-term bullish. Short-term doesn't really matter. I'm only thinking long-term anyway. So, all right. This one here. So the real reason the markets are crashing. So over the last 2 months, the S&P 500 and crypto have raised a combined $5.5 trillion of market cap. We've just witnessed one of the most sudden shift in sentiment since 2020. What's happening? Let us explain. So I haven't actually gone through this, so I'm going to go through this with you guys as well. So let's begin with a timeline. Markets have known the trade war was coming since as early as mid-2024. In December, tariff threats ramped up, and we saw many all-time highs in the S&P 500 after that. Even after the trade war began on February 1st, we saw more all-time highs. So if we have a look here, so I distinctly recall, and I should have looked it up, but I posted on Twitter, but Somi, who I trust and love dearly, said that the tariffs were bullish, and I remember them being bearish, but I could be wrong. And so obviously he's also saying that the markets are treating it as a bearish event. So this is when the tariffs began. So this was in December. It was pretty much an all-time high. Look at that sell-off there. So the trade wars begin, and then the market peaks months after tariff headlines begin. So S&P 500 has raised $4 trillion in market cap in 3 weeks. So it's gone from just over $6,000 to just over 5.5. So it's raised $4 trillion. So yeah, the market pumped on Trump's election, and then the tariff started, and then it started going sideways and down. So until this whole uncertainty around tariffs, because it's all good and well saying that we're going to dump a tariff on you, but do you think like people fight back? Countries they're not just going to roll over and go, okay, no worries, America. You know, we basically let you walk all over us in every way, shape, and form. We'll let you do this as well. It's not going to happen. Trump is saying, oh, America's been treated so badly. It's like, I'm not so sure about that. So since February 20th, the S&P 500 has raised a whopping 4.5 trillion in market cap. That's 350 billion in market cap per day. Wow, over the last 13 days. So the Nasdaq is now just 8% away from entering a bear market for the first time since 2022. What changed so quickly? The trade war is simply the scapegoat. Oh, interesting. The real reason behind the market's decline is a sudden shift in risk appetite. Well, what's leading to the sudden shift in risk appetite, though? That would surely be the trade war. So we have gone from extreme greed to extreme fear in a matter of days. Positioning was so polarized that we have swung in the complete opposite direction. Look at this, the Magnificent Seven. So these are the top tech companies. What do you think is currently the most crowded trade? I mean, they're so overvalued. It's just insane. So the stock prices, at least. Where it gets even more interesting is that institutional capital exited before this decline in tech stocks. Heading into 2025, hedge fund exposure to Magnificent Seven stocks fell to a 22-month low. Take a look at the divergence between the Nasdaq and fund positioning. So this is the Magnificent Seven. So this is the price. And then this is the Nasdaq index on the right. So the Magnificent Seven has really radically dropped. Wow. So this was leading into 2025. So now obviously we're getting the headwind of that. On January, I should be liking these because it's actually really good. This is a really good thread. So on January 9th, institutional investors built the largest Ethereum short position in history. This came as retail investors piled into crypto on hopes of a US strategic reserve. Crypto is down over $1 trillion, even as almost all of the bullish Trump promises came to fruition. Oh, wow, look at this. Look at those shorts. That's insane. Wow. Oops. Crypto is even more supportive of our thesis. Take a look at all of the bullish. Let's have a look here. Oh, damn it. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Take a look at all of the bullish crypto developments that have happened over the last 2 months. Even the US Bitcoin Reserve became a sell the news event. So what changed? Clearly a sudden shift in risk appetite. So Trump launches his meme coin. Gary Gensler resigns. Bring back Gaza. Bring back Gary. Meme coins ruled, not securities. US strategic reserve. Crypto raises $1 trillion. So it's just bullish news event after bullish news event, and everything's just dumped. I mean, wow. So Trump's meme coin was really the top of the market. So I mean, it's as an event that nobody saw coming. It is plausible that could have been the top. It is plausible that could have been the top of the bull market. It's very, very, very plausible that the president comes, launches a meme coin, and that's the top. And I know that one of Somi's top indicators, or I seem to recall one of Somi's top indicators, was celebrities launching meme coins. I don't think he would have predicted US president launching a meme coin, and that really trumps celebrities launching meme coins, because celebrities were launching them left, right, and center, and then the president himself launches. So it could very well. It could very well. So even as I'm reading this, I'm trying to calculate how does it make me feel. It could very well have been a top, because we're getting all this bullish. I mean, just bullish indicator after bullish indicator, and it's still going down. So we're really getting dragged down with the global economy. This is the issue currently. So in December of 2024, sentiment was so bullish that Apollo published their risks in 2025 with a 0% chance of a US recession. Wow. Meanwhile, they saw a 90% chance of tariffs coming in 2025. Markets have known about tariffs for months. The decline is not entirely due to tariffs. I mean, this could also just be ignorance, but we'll see what he has to say. So fear and greed indices in cryptos and stocks have hit their lowest since the 2022 bear market this month. Last year, crypto saw extreme greed levels of 92 plus. It's now at a polar opposite of 17. Sentiment is the ultimate driver of price in any market, regardless of fundamentals. Wow. That's wow. So from December, extreme greed to the polar opposite. I mean, look at this. It's as low as it's been since, yeah, I mean, for the whole year. So since 2022. When sentiment shifts so quickly, outflows hit record highs and cause flash crashes, as we have seen. In the last week of February, crypto funds posted a record 2.6 billion outflow for the week. This is $500 million of the previous record set in 2024. Wow. So the previous outflows in 2024 must have been about 2 billion or 2.1 billion. All right. So last week, US small cap funds saw 3.5 billion of outflows, the most since December 18th. Mid cap funds saw outflows of 2.1 billion. So lots of outflows. This means that getting ahead of shifts in sentiment will be the most profitable strategy of 2025. And as the volatility index surges over 70% in 1 month, the swings are going to broaden. We expect to see 1,000 plus point swings in the Dow become a regular occurrence. Yeah, I mean, this sideways action is really also reflected in Forex. So my Forex algorithm wins on trends. It gets hammered on sideways actions, and it's been getting absolutely slaughtered for the last pretty much 2 months because there's uncertainty. People don't know because of, I mean, I still do think the tariffs are really playing a big part in that. So, I mean, you look at the tariffs and then you look at, I mean, Forex is foreign currencies playing against each other. So the fact that they're going sideways, no one knows which one is going to have the more power or should have the more power because of the uncertainty around this. So through technical and fundamental analysis, we have been trading these swings. Stocks, commodities, bonds, and crypto are highly tradable now. Want to see how we are trading? Not really. Lastly, the moves in crypto and stocks are becoming increasingly one-sided. Red days are deep red days and vice versa. Yet another sign of changing risk appetite. Sentiment is the ultimate driver of price. Okay, so nothing really to say. I mean, there's lots of outflows, but why? The outflows are going where? The outflows are going into dollars. They'll go into dollars. They'll go into risk-off assets, which is dollars. So the dollars is waiting to be deployed. And so even though the DXY is dropping, the dollar is dropping, it's still having a lot of inflows from all these risk on assets. Basically, that's pretty much what this whole post is saying. So he's saying it's not necessarily due to the tariffs, but they haven't really presented a case as to why it's not. They're showing symptoms of what's actually happening, but not why it's happening. So I still really do think it's tariffs. I mean, damn it, I should have looked it up and got it pre-prepared, but I'm pretty sure the China and USA tariff war created so much market volatility and uncertainty in the last bull market. So Trump wants to crash the stock market. The US government has to refinance $7 trillion of debt in the next 6 months. There's no way Trump wants to refinance it at current 10-year yields. This is why he's crashing the stock market and pumping the bond prices. And I remember seeing this basically for like all of last year going, the bond market is just savage. Like no one wants bonds. The yield is so low. It's trash. Why would anyone want bonds when they can put it in Bitcoin or risk on assets and they can just, the bags will just keep getting pumped and they're going to get way more yield in risk on assets, which seems to be getting supported by money printer. Why would they want to go to bonds? And it really looked like, well, this is not a good sign for the whole global macroeconomy because the bond prices are very integral to the stability of the whole liquidity flows. So the fact that he's trying to do this is he's really trying to stabilize everything, to keep it how it used to be, you could say. So as bond prices will go up, yields will come down, and the US government will be able to refinance their debt at cheaper rates. Not only that, lower bond yield will also push the Fed to do rate cuts, which is bullish for risk on assets. So don't panic over the short term and look at the longer picture. So that's an exceptional post. And then everybody's friend, Somi. So proof that the crypto cycle is not over. The business ISM, so this is also something that Raoul Pal talks about a lot, has spent 26 months in the red contraction zone, a freak accident combo. It is now finally going above 50. Notice in the past 3 crypto cycles, the alt season waves appeared when the ISM was well above 53. Even in the 2020 Bitcoin halving year, we saw DeFi alt season appear as ISM went to 54. Today, ISM is finally putting its head above the water. We witnessed an unfortunate freak accident with the business cycle, and we can see this reflected in Ethereum price. What's next? US dollar continues lower, China keeps printing, global liquidity keeps rising on track. Business ISM should reflect the economy optimism by rising above 53 plus and giving us 2 alt season waves. If you think this time is different, then you believe ISM will go back below 50 and stay there for a while. This is always possible, but we've been below 50 for a record 26 months. If you're a Jeet, you can click sell and leave. I'm still holding. I'm with you, Habibi. I'm definitely with you. So you can see here, it's a very different condition, isn't it? Because when it's dipped below the 50, it's radically reversed. It's created like a V bottom. It's radically reversed. Here, it's like double bottomed, triple bottomed. It's really stayed down here for 26 months. It stayed down for a long time. So basically more than double. Well, as a matter of fact, almost the last 3 all put together equals this one here. So it's really starting to break this downtrend, or look like it's breaking this downtrend. So this is definitely something to keep an eye on as well. So Raoul Pal, he replied to me on this as well. I was happy about that. This too shall pass. So crypto is still feeling the tightening in liquidity. So this is the global M2 that I was talking about yesterday, from the stronger dollar and higher rates in Q4 2024. That is almost done, and financial conditions are easing fast, and M2 is headed back to new highs. This is just a regular correction. So he also offsets it. I actually asked him about the divergence of, I mean, now they're converging, but there was a massive, massive divergence, probably one of the biggest that's ever existed in, well, at least since 2023. So I asked him about it, but he said there's no divergence that I can see. So yeah, I probably should have been more specific. I actually got a reply from Raoul Pal. We had the exact same correction in 2017 caused by the same reaction to Trump policies, higher dollar and higher rates, which then reversed. So again, this is really just like Trump is coming out guns blazing. He's just ripping the Band-Aid off. He's getting shit done. This is what goats do. They don't like people like this. It's just like bulldoze everything. Let's fix it. It's not delicate. It's not slow. It's like, okay, we're going to go through the pain so we can get to the gains after. This is Trump's character. This is his mindset. It's very clear when you just listen to the kind of person that he is. So over time, we just keep climbing the log regression channel, whether we stay at the mean, the red, or climb above it by another standard deviation or 2 remains to be seen as the cycles develop. We're still early in the business cycle using ISM, and as the ISM rises this year and into the next year, crypto will rise with it. Patience and less drama, please. You know the DTFU rules. I don't know what the DTFU rules are. DFTU rules. Don't F this up. Thank you, Raoul. You're the DGen goat. Has there ever been a bigger divergence? There is no divergence of note. Raoul. Anyway. Okay. So that's the story. And then again, as I'm reading these things, I'm getting a feel for how the sentiment is feeling. It's kind of like it's like a superpower, but it's not. And I think the reason why I'm able to very clearly feel this is because my mind is very clear. because of all the meditation that I do, or the specific meditation that I do. And I think it's very much a superpower. And so I used to think it was some sort of spiritual power, but I think it's something that probably everybody will be able to access one day. And this is also where I see a future where basically there's going to be this disillusion between the way that the markets are, this disillusion between humans doing everything and everything being done by artificial intelligence. So really, like this idea of being able to feel the sentiment is really quite profound now, but in the future it'll just be the norm. It'll just be like an ordinary thing. So I wanted to talk more a little bit about emotional mastery. And people say you shouldn't base things on feelings, but I completely disagree. I think feelings are very, very important. The reason why is feelings they're a subjective experience of emotions. I probably also slightly disagree with subjective, often considered to arise before conscious thoughts in many situations, meaning that we can sometimes feel an emotion before fully processing it with our thoughts. This is particularly supported by theories suggesting that our initial emotional response to a stimulus can be instinctive and occur before cognitive evaluation. So in other words, feelings is like the precursor to your consciousness even processing what's happened. So before your thoughts are like, things are going down, you feel it. If I'm feeling it, it's like, something's about to happen, and you feel it. So I'm very in tune with that. And because I believe in it, because I'm very in tune with it, I get the results based on it because I'm in tune with that frequency. If I was like, nah, it's a bunch of BS, I wouldn't be able to feel it. I wouldn't be able to respond to it in the way that I do. But because I really do believe in it, then I'm in tune with that frequency so that I can get the synchronicities in relation to that. So feelings, I believe, are very important, which is why I believe emotional mastery is like the number one thing in mastering anything when it comes to the global economy, mastering anything when it comes to investing. I think mindset is like the number one thing. It's what, like, there's artificial intelligence. There's every tool. There's like billions or maybe not billions, but whatever. There's hundreds of thousands and millions of TA tools and courses and any number of information that you need there. You could put any of those together, but if your mind, if you haven't mastered your mind and your emotions, then nothing that you learn is going to work. Nothing. But if you master your mindset and you master your emotions, then you could pick up any number of anyone's courses and get results from them if you have the emotional mastery and the mindset. That's why I think it's the number one. It's the number one thing. So the reason why I wanted to go into this as well was, one, yesterday, Jesu commented something about feelings, which I wanted to go into. And then also when I was reading Twitter for the first time again today, I was really feeling like, I'm really feeling the fear of the planet. And it sounds crazy, but to me, it's not. It's like, all I'm doing is just tuning in like a radio to that frequency, and it resonates in my body. And so what is that? I mean, the earth vibrates. So this is for globetards only, but the earth has a resonance. So the earth resonates. So it's called the Schumann resonance, where electromagnetic waves created by lightning strikes bounce between the Earth's surface and the ionosphere, creating a repeating heartbeat at a primary frequency around 7.83 hertz, essentially acting like a giant resonant cavity in the atmosphere. So everything's just energy and light. So everything is just frequencies. And so the feeling of people around the world is, it's getting grounded in the earth. Have you heard of earthing or grounding, where basically you can alleviate stress? So stress will basically create a certain kind of electrical charge in your body. So when you go out and you touch grass, where you hear people say touch grass, it's actually releasing the negative ions. So it's very, very good for you. It releases stress. So there's so many things which indicate that there is a resonance to the earth. And so if there is this kind of relationship between this being and the earth, which is actually just one thing, and if you believe that it's one thing, then you can tune in with the feelings of the earth. And this has been a measurable thing. There has been, for example, like 9/11, there's been measured frequency changes on the earth based on the emotions of the planet. So 9/11 was something that pretty much affected the entire planet. So for me, it's basically like a logical fact. So, why am I saying this? Because I'm starting to feel that fear of the world, of where things are going. Not in a way that I think it's over, but in a way that it's like, okay, it's time to start paying attention. Could that have been the bottom? Personally, I don't think so. I think it's going to go lower. I really, really do think it's going to go lower. I really don't see it outside of the realms of I don't see it being completely unremarkable for it to go below 60K. I don't see it being completely unremarkable to go as low as 50K. I really don't see that outside of the realms of, I don't think it's crazy to consider that based on the current conditions, based on what Trump is trying to do. So being in tune with that feeling, but they're not acting to it. Because if it's going down, I mean, do you want to be selling when it's down? No. I mean, do I know for certain that it's going to get down to 50K? Goodness, no. You really don't know. So it's an impossibility to really say that. So there's not really much you can do, but basically stay in control and not cheat, not sell. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm all in. But my life is going to be fine either way. If crypto goes to zero, it's like, okay, well, no problem. I'll give it up. I'll move on to artificial intelligence or the next thing. No problem. So, yeah, I don't think it's the bottom. I think it's going to get worse, but I'm starting to feel it. I'm starting to feel that fear, which is really interesting. And how, I mean, I can't speak highly enough of Moon King. So I was talking about courses before. And honestly, like when he increased his subscription rate, I was like, oh, damn, because I am a volunteer. I'm a full-time volunteer. So I've got enough to eat and everything that I need, but I don't have a lot of spending money. You know, I buy all my clothes from secondhand shops, and I'm okay with that. It's fine. I get enough, but it's like I really have to calculate these things. And when crypto's down, you don't really want to sell. But I see this as being completely worth it. I mean, Moon King, love him or hate him, he's a goat. He's a goat. He's a mindset goat. I mean, he's succeeded at everything that he's put his mind to, and he just kills it in this. So this also helps me understand where the market is. When you listen to an expert like this, not just there's a difference between like the mindset of kind of adapting everything in the world and getting a sense of the sentiment, and having kind of direct communication with someone like the Moon King. It's like you're in the round tables of the White House. You're not just hearing it on the news, you're in there. And there's a certain level of confidence that comes from that. There's a certain level of conviction that comes from that. So I can't speak highly enough of Moon King, and I follow everything that he does, and I'm trying to learn and absorb everything about his mindset, because I think he's a wonderful, I think he's a fantastic human being, and I think he's a winner. He's a winner. It's just that simple. So I'm not shilling his course. I'm not shilling that, but the importance of, there'll be plenty of people who subscribe and don't get any value out of it because they don't have the right kind of mindset. But like I was saying, there's so many courses that you can do. So again, I'm not shilling his course, but I like the idea of aligning myself. It's like I've got a friend, you know, that saying where it's like you become the product of your 5 closest friends. So it's really like the abundance mind that it's basically like I'm talking to someone and he's here. And this is the beauty of the internet. This is the beauty of global interconnectivity. So I can get a whole understanding of everything from all over Twitter. This gives me like a big sentiment. Then I've got my tight-knit circle that I can really learn from. So yeah, I just wanted to emphasize that this for me is really a key part of my emotional mastery, because if I'm feeling something and I've got my thesis about it, and then Moon King reflects that thesis back to me, then it's gives me conviction. It gives me confidence. This is very, very important in continuing to master that emotional mindset. So, all right, I'm going to go through these comments before we get to the next phase, talking about pDAI and the Pulsechain. Remember is paying insane. Remember, everything's dipping. Like these are good opportunities. I think like probably could get some more dips, but yes, Remember is exceptional. So there's still positives in Pulsechain at the moment. Have you looked into Vox Farms paying thousands of % in APR? Vox Farms, I haven't, Puffy. What are Vox Farms? Yes, so this was the Herman wallet, not the top Pi Cycle Bitcoin top indicator, not flashed yet. Could be mimicking 2017. Bitcoin tapped out 16th of December 2017. Hellguard, Prince Lou, I've never seen you in here. So welcome, man. Welcome. So, yes, the Pi cycle Bitcoin top indicator. I've heard a lot about this. I think possibly from Access Alive as well, actually. So, what's going on, David? Did Richard Hart just peg pDAIs with pump tires? DAI, possibly BB. It's getting close. So pDAI and pump tires DAI are same price. There we go. Same price. I think it's going to beat it too. I think it's going to beat it, and I think it's going to be a calling card. It's going to be like, you know, people mock this idea of communicating through the blockchain, and I can understand why, but some of the things are quite plausible too, you know. Hi, Steve on fam. Can you have a look on the Bitcoin Cash Coin? Volume increased in recent weeks and accumulation 500 plus USD by one wallet. Are you able to DM me on Twitter, live, laugh, love, that contract address? Because I can't copy it from the comments here. So, Jesu, you're feeling that. You feel that as well. So you feel the resonance of the earth and you feel the sentiment of the earth. I just think it's such a superpower. The first time that I felt it was when I was doing my Forex trading. My ex-wife had just left me, and I was like trying to win her back. I was really in probably the worst state of mind that I've ever been in. The worst state of mind. You know, emasculated as a man. She left me. I'm pathetic. I'm hopeless. I'm useless. I'm worthless. All of these, like, many suicidal thoughts. Had a deeply negative mind at the time. I took our money and I tried to invest it. Okay, I'm going to win her back. I'm going to be a man. I'm going to win her back. I'm going to show her that I can take care of her. I'm going to show her that I'm worthy, even though the money was not the thing that she left me for. But, you know, being irrational, took all our money, started doing Forex trading. And I'll just never forget it. I put a leverage long on something in a very cocky way. And this is where I really learned the power of mindset with trading. And I was like, wow, you really have to have the right mindset. I put a leverage long, was greedy, didn't follow my process. I was a newbie, not that I had like a full good process, didn't follow my process, got absolutely wrecked. It just plummeted. But before it plummeted, I remember sitting in my car, and because it's on my mind, this is the thing, it's on my mind. So you might look at this and go, well, that's a coincidence. It was on your mind, but I don't. There's a particular feeling that's associated with it. It's not just a thought that pumps up. It was on my mind, and then I just had this huge surge of fear, like, oh, and it was like, shit, I felt compelled instantly. My body just moved to check the trade, and I looked at the trade and it just started plummeting. So because my perspective at that point in time is like the future and the past is one, it's just this eternal present. There's no distinction between the past and the future. Because my mind is in tune with this idea, because my mind was also in tune with a oneness consciousness, I was like, wow, I just felt like the panic of traders resonating to me, and also the future resonating to me. And that was not the first time that was the first time that it happened, but it wasn't the only time. It's happened so many times since then where I'm like, this is actually like a superpower. It's really helped me predict a lot of things. I mean, the pDAI tops, for example. So it's really like a bit of a superpower, I feel. But again, it's actually quite ordinary. So Matt in Bali, UG, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. And Australian dollars too. You're a legend. Thanks, bro. Pedro, what's going on? Which DAI will hit one? Hopefully both, Pedro. But I really do think that the meme DAI is going to hit it first. So we'll get to that. I want to show my case for that. So what's going on, DJ Paulie Wood? That's sad to hear. It's in the past, man. I was with you until you're that's sad to hear. I was with you until you're a fan of Moon King. That really sucks for me, dude. Take care. No worries, Phil, my pulse. That's a shame, man. I mean, it's up to you if you know, like, yeah, I guess that's life, isn't it? So I wouldn't. Yeah, I guess a prideful person would be like, well, I don't care. But I do care. I do actually care. I think that's a shame. I wouldn't want to lose you based on the fact that I like the Moon King and respect the Moon King. I know the things that he does. I know his tactics, but everybody's doing the same thing in a different kind of a way too, right? So we all have our strategies for how we want things to go up. So Hex Maxis, for example, will be like, oh, just don't sell. Everybody's got their strategy for how they want things to go up and when they want to sell and the conditions under which they want to sell. It just manifests in different ways. So I look beyond that and I look at the heart of the man and the mind of the man. And for me, I really respect him. So I think it's a shame for you to leave and unsubscribe based on that, but it's up to you, man. So, all right, let's have a look. I'll have a look at this. I'll just go through these final comments. Thanks, Helgard. DM'd you the Vox Farm link as well. All right, let's have a look at the Vox Farm link. Okay, so all right, so we'll have a look at this. So that's the Vox Finance Farm. All right, and then what did we have here? What was the other one? So we'll have a look at this. So what was this one about? Live, laugh, love. This was what were you asking me about this one? So can you have a look on Bitcoin Cash Coin? Volume is increased in recent weeks. An accumulation 500 plus USD by one wallet. All right, well. Is this the Pump Tires Bitcoin Cash that was launched by the Richard Hart? Is this Pump Tires? No, one year, 4 months ago. Right, okay. Bitcoin Cash. This is Bitcoin Cash on Pulsechain, a fully decentralized token. This will be used as a form of payment with hopes to connect to real Bitcoin Cash and the Bitcoin Cash network. This is not the original Bitcoin Cash. Bitcoin Cash brings sound money to the world. Volume increased in recent weeks in accumulation. $500, 500 plus USD by one wallet. Wow. Wow. Okay, that's interesting. Wow, nice spot, man. I mean, this could be something to these clues. Like, what are the big dogs doing? These are the little clues. So yeah, nice, live, laugh, love. I don't really know what to say about it, but the volume is very telling. The volume is telling. I mean, look at these buys. So there's clearly someone who wants this to succeed. So, but you know, it's only 5.2K liquidity. So even though they're $500 buys, it's only 5.2K liquidity. But it's definitely something to keep an eye on because somebody's protecting the bottom. So it's something definitely to be mindful of, but also be mindful of the fact that someone could be trying to do this to suck you in to sell. So I don't know anything about it, but good little spot, good little clues to look out for. But it's kind of a little bit, it's also like market makers will hide their buys a little bit better than this. This is like so a bit too obvious and a bit too clear. But yeah, clearly someone at least is in this, which is, yeah, something to keep an eye on. So let's have a look at this Vox.finance/farm. Good time for pDAI pulse ratio. So in my opinion, it's getting close to as good as it's going to get. It could drop another 40-50%, but I mean, you know, when people were yelling at me saying it's not going to go below 1 cent, I mean, anything below 1 cent is a gift, in my opinion. So again, I don't try and pick the bottom. I just try and go within a region. And so for me, I think it's a good region. It's a good zone to accumulate in, put it that way. So what's going on for Tina? Don't confuse fear with instinct. Conquer your world, not hers. Main law of attraction. Reach it hard. Reach it hard. Yeah, bro. I'm still good friends with her. I love her to pieces. So I made some mistakes as a man. It was something that I needed to grow. It was something that I needed to grow, but it also taught me that I'm probably I'm trying to master myself and first, because I cannot be with a woman right now. I'm too focused on too many other things, and I don't have control over certain things, certain impulses around food and greed. It's like, no, I've got to really master myself first, and I've come a long way, but yeah, I still feel like I've got a little bit of work to do. So thanks, Pedro. Who is that 1832 wallet? Damn, are you talking about, is this 1832 talking about for this here? Or maybe you're talking about like the pDAI. That's probably the 1832 is probably the Herman wallet. So that's not Pump Tie's version. Yeah, that's correct. It's not Pump Tie's. Been watching that one. Been in my others watch list forever. So yeah, Bitcoin Cash on Pulsechain. Cool. Definitely something to keep an eye on. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm in a great fork of Bitcoin, and I'm trying to integrate it into Pulsechain, but yeah, I guess I'm having a little bit of I'm not having difficulty, but it's probably going to need to get some results first as a chain before I can really start to shill the idea of it. So 122 Pulse is a crazy good deal for pDAI. So wow, PWrap Bitcoin below $400. So again, look, this is the thing. Pulsechain is so low, but if this continues to drop, down to 70, 60, 50, like everything on Pulsechain is going to also continue to drop. That's the thing. So again, it's like, it's too hard to pick that bottom. It's too hard. But how much better do you want these deals? If I had liquidity from a job and I was bringing it in, it would be an easy decision. I'd be like, yeah, I'm just going to buy. It's a dip. I'm going to buy. Can it go lower? Well, if it does, then the next paycheck I'll accumulate more. That's basically how I would be playing it. So I would basically get a certain amount of liquidity built up, and then I'd bridge it over and then buy. That's what I was doing in the last bull run, and it certainly created a 7-figure portfolio, but it didn't keep a 7-figure portfolio because I didn't have the mindset mastered at the time. So anyway, let's go into Pulsechain. So yeah, it's stinking. Look at that red. Look at the red. So it's not too dissimilar to everything that's going on in the rest of Pulsechain, the rest of cryptocurrency. But look at this, the meme DAI, the shining light. Jupiter. Don't know what Jupiter is. 5 months old. 100%. What was Vox? I was looking at Vox as well. Sorry, Puffy. I was looking at Vox. So I have no idea what Vox is, but it's $250,000 locked up in liquidity. That's pretty good. Where's our yields? 7,000 APR. 7,000 APR. What? Wrapped Bitcoin. What? I mean, look, I'm not going to... I really don't know enough about locking up liquidity or how to do this, but I mean, looking at that yield, it's definitely worth looking at, but there's always like a downside to the yield. But the beautiful thing about Pulsechain is the fees. I mean, doing this on Ethereum, you'd go, oh, look at these yields, and you go into it, and then you end up kind of losing everything because by the time you put it in and take it out, you've lost whatever profit you had in gas. So this is the real beauty of Pulsechain. So gee whiz, I mean, for 7,000 APR, that's insane. But now that I've done a video on it, I mean, it's not like I'm massive or anything, but now that I've done a video on it, these yields are probably going to reduce if people go into it. So obviously it's based on how many people go into it. So, but definitely worth looking at. So Vox is it's only 4 days old. The token has had a great pump since launch as well. So the yield that you're getting is in the Vox token, I would imagine. So do you know who created this? So Vox,
100%.
Do you know who created it? Because, I mean, geez, this is looking a lot better than... But this is the thing, right? And I don't want to FUD this or anything like this. I'm just going to tell you what normally happens in these scenarios is the yield is really good. And then if you wait too long, if you're like, oh, yeah, I don't know, I'm a bit hesitant. If you wait too long, the yield gets really too good that basically people start dumping the price down. And then the yield versus the price doesn't make it worth it. So if there ever was a time, now, I mean, it's one of those things where the sooner the better with these. So you're getting the yield in the Vox token. It's a Pulsechain. So Pulsechain is really, really good. I mean, Pulsechain, fantastic. So they do a lot of... Pulsechain does a lot of good stuff. So there you go. Jupiter is a Herman coin. So there we go. So Herman is pumping. And yeah, Herman does these random things where he just pumps random shit. So he's obviously pumping Jupiter. He's pumping DAI. So he's dumping his pDAI for this DAI. Can we see the last... we can only see the last 24 hours. So Jupiter... So this is the... Well, there you go. So pDAI for the meme DAI. Gophers! Pumping Axis. Mafia, nice. Go Mafia. Hey, loan in the top 12. Wowee. Liquid loans, nice. So, okay, yeah. So not much. X is up there too. Nice, good on your X. And Teddy Bear to UFO. All right, so what have I got up here? I got my multi-charts. This could be the pDAI chart. Oh, wow. Nice. Wow. So this is massively dumping. Nice. Right. Yeah, nice. If you're an accumulator. Like, see, my mindset is maybe a little bit crazy. I don't know, but I'm just like, nice. Because I'm planning on selling some other cryptos to buy some more. So I'm just like, cool. I don't mind if it's going to go down. All my other cryptos are down as well, but they're dropping at less of a rate, and they're not going to... There's not a clear target in the other. So the Bitmobic, I'm selling my Bitmobic, which is a fork of Bitcoin, but I plan on going back into Bitmobic. So I want that Bitmobic, but now Bitmobic is also dropping, but it's dropping less than what these are dropping, and it's not going to gain as fast as what these are going to gain, in my opinion. So, wow. So Hansi was also saying, I mean, so basically, it was just me and Hansi, I think, that were really saying, well, there could be more, but from or maybe Moon King as well was saying it. So Hansi was saying, well, he had lower targets than me. So this was his first target. So his target was here, 4.7 cents, and his low target was, I think it was this. I think it was like, where did he show the wick? I think it was here, and then possibly here, like 2.5, 0.002. It's in the 0.002 region. So, and look, if Bitmobic keeps dropping and pDAI has a recovery and it goes up to 1 cent, then you bought it at below half a cent, goes to 1 cent, you just sell half and then buy back your Bitmobic. That's how I am going to try and play this anyway. So, yeah, wow, keeps dropping. Nice. So, very nice. Imagine now, like, if you haven't got $1 million, it's getting very, very possible to get $1 million. So very, very possible to get $1 million. So I'm very happy about that. I can sell some Bitmobic and I can get $1 million. So pump tires stuff. So again, I only look at the Richard Hart stuff. The only thing that's going crazy is this DAI. So Herman is pumping the absolute crap out of this. So this is almost broken all-time high. So this is to USD price against Pulsechain. I fixed all the charts up, but obviously not every single one of them, but I've tried to go dark mode. I've even changed my background. Which I spend so long doing these things. trying to get like the visuals right, but I don't like the way that it looks in a little. It looks cool. It looks cool when it's like in the big, but it doesn't look cool when it's it stands out too much, I feel. But anyway, yeah, wow, almost broke an all-time high again in Pulsechain value as well. So wow, what a pump. So 136% pump. So what is it at the minute? It I mean, it could flip pDAI. It could flip pDAI. So it's getting close. It's getting close. So 365, and then this was 47. So it's getting close. So he's basically dumping this. It's getting so close. It's getting so close. So this was, wow, this almost entered into the threes. Perhaps even did. And did this enter into the fours? It did. Wow. So they were pretty much even Stevens. They were even Stevens. That would have been touching at one point. Wow. So the meme DAI is going to flip. But, you know, honestly, I think this is going to get to $1 before pDAI because it can. It's so easy to get there with. It doesn't have the whole like we can turn the MakerDAO thing on. It doesn't have that, but it can get there quite easily. So, you know, Herman is flipping small amounts of pDAI for this. So he used to have billions. Like I think he used to have like maybe 5 billion. Now he's down to say 450 million. Everyone hates Herman. I love Herman because Herman keeps dumping prices for the boys and the gals to accumulate. So shout out to you, Herman. So yeah, that's it really. This is the only thing that's positively pumping. So my TikTok live was discontinued due to inactivity. That's I don't know when that happened, but sorry, I got a little bit distracted there. I just wanted to see how it was going because I can't put them all on the same screen. So okay, all right. I'm just going to go through these comments and finish up because there's not much more to talk about. So Pulse Alerts posted pDAI exploit. Pulse Alerts posted pDAI exploit. What's the @ on the Pulse Alerts? So Pulse Alerts. Damn, that's one hell of a background. I should follow Mr. Pulse Alerts. Not sure what you're talking about, DJ Paulie Woods, unless there's another Pulse Alerts. Everything is on sale. It certainly is. So what is this? CD, I don't know what I was talking about. That was the meme DAI. So this is the pump tires DAI. So supposedly Richard Hart or one of his teams or a wallet that's connected to Richard Hart or one of his teams launched all of these pump tires tokens when pump tires launched, and they all did well. And so I've just been tracking those, or I think there was like maybe 20 or something, and I've just been tracking them. So yeah, the DAI one is the only one that's been doing well recently anyway. So do you think people have been saying bull is over to crash the price like what's happening just now to buy more because they are sure it's not actually over? There seems to be FUD everywhere. Yeah, I think that there definitely is that. There definitely will be people that are saying that so that they can accumulate more. 100%, yes. But how much that makes a difference, I can't tell you. But I think definitely there will be people amongst the market that are deliberately trying to force prices lower. 100%. It's not over. We have a couple more pumps and dumps before end of year. I agree with DJ Paulie Wood, but I do think again, it's going to be beholden to what's happening with USA and Trump. My pleasure, Puffy. Herman he's the Leonidas guy. So Herman was basically one of the biggest holders of pDAI, and he's just been basically dumping it. So he had over 5 billion, and then he created Leonidas, and Leonidas token got sent out to a whole bunch of different places and a whole bunch of different influencers. I remember like Crypto Coffee talking about getting sent Leonidas, and he sold it for like 30K or something like this. I was like, oh, damn, bro, good on you. So yeah, I think, yeah, whoever Herman is, he's a little bit crazy. He just pumps random shit, but then he just pumps things that he wants to pump and then profits on those. So yeah, he's got his own little ecosystem going on with Leonidas. So that's who Herman is. So some people are like, oh, it means Richard Hart or something, but yeah, everyone thinks everyone is Richard Hart. So all right, I might leave it at that. So thanks everybody, and again, Matt, thank you so much for that super chat. I really appreciate that. They don't come often, but when they do come, I definitely appreciate them. And when they're as big as that, man, that's very, very greatly appreciated. So, all right, everybody. Thank you very much. Hopefully you enjoyed the stream. So for me, just to round everything up, I am not bearish, but I'm keeping my eyes on the market. So short-term bearish, short-term time frame. I don't know what that means. Short-term time frame, could that be weeks? Could it be months? I don't know. I'm just going to be keeping my eyes on the crypto market and the macro market and everything that's happening with Trump and the United States. So I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. If that extends beyond 6 months to a year, then I'd be like, okay, well, it looks like we've skipped this bull market, and that was the bull market top. But I also think that it could mean things really change with the way that the market now responds to the world, whether this 4-year cycle has broken, because now we have the big boys here. It was always, everybody was really fearing this sentiment. So there is that possibility. We can't write everything off the table. So short-term bearish, long-term bullish, time frames, we don't know. So how good does the background look now when it's like a big screen? It looks so cool. It just looks so lame when it's short. So I spent so long. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody. Take care.